Hello everyone, welcome back to Major Hi-Fi. I'm Luke. My hair is a mess. I'm sweating because the air conditioning is broken and it's 92 degrees outside, but we have a new headphone here and we're gonna review it. The show must go on. This is the Sivga SV021 and it runs for $149. So let's just see what is packing inside of this box. Do I know anything about Sivga? They're a headphone company, and well, that's it. That's all I know. I have listened to these before, of course, before this review. I have spent hours and hours with them, but prior to, I had very little experience with Sivga. I've tried some of their headphones, but like a few songs maybe. I have not reviewed one before. So I was quite interested, and these run for sort of a moderate price point. Some would consider it low, some wouldn't. But this kind of caters to an audiophile realm, though somewhere maybe in between the audiophile and the consumer. And as you'll see from the looks of these, I find that audiophile headphones these days, not all of them, but a lot of over-ears kind of go for a very plain look. I don't know if that's sort of an attempt to be stoic or minimalist or something. I feel like so many of the most sought-after audiophile headphones are just stark black all over and very kind of uncreative designs, which is fine, I guess. There's nothing wrong with simple, and also it's if you're going to try to make a headphone that a lot of people are going to buy, you want it to be neutral. But I do find with consumer headphones there's a bit more variety in the looks. So I like when a kind of audiophile-esque brand goes for a little bit more of a bold look, which these have. It's very vintage. This is actually made of real wood, which I didn't realize because they're so light. I thought it was plastic. They don't look like plastic. Well, it's so polished, that I was like, maybe this is just fake wood. But it's apparently real wood, and I think real leather and real metal. So that's great, but they're super, super light. I just thought they were plastic. They don't feel cheap generally in terms of breakability, but weight-wise, they don't feel like they're made of any heavy materials. Also, finally, we have a new headphone. It's just been IEMs galore for a while. I mean, don't get me wrong, love a good IEM, but I'm a little bit ready to talk about literally anything else. But yeah, so these are the SV021. We get a couple other things in here, not a ton of accessories going on. So first we get this burlap sack of some sort. I don't actually know what fabric this is. It's definitely a very rustic carrying case, should we say, very rustic. Drawstring. I feel like I see cornmeal in these types of sacks, or maybe really trendy coffee brands. I don't know. This seems more like a bag for food to me. I just don't fully see the connect between this and this. This feels more like a headphone that you would put in a case, or if it was a bag, it would be maybe I don't know, not this bag. I don't know, but it would work. I mean, it would definitely keep them from getting scratched up. It might not be the most protective thing, but these are pretty sturdy, so I guess you don't need a rock hard case or anything. But yeah, interesting bag for sure. And then we have the cable, which is just a pretty standard cable, 3.5 millimeter termination. We do also get a 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch converter. It's one of these, I don't know what the correct word, I guess fabric braided, braided cables are their own thing, but it's got that fabric kind of ropey outer coating on it, which is nice, and a nice metal casing around the termination, which is really good to keep things sturdy and long lasting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the looks on these. I like the vintage look. They have a very modern comfort. These ear pads, which are actually detachable, are super soft. If I put these on, they look good in my they look cool. Honestly, I don't look at myself in the mirror with the headphones when I review them. So I'm looking in the viewfinder. I think I look good. Only complaint is that they smell kind of funny. Not that I sniff headphones when I take them out of the box, unless anyone wants me to start writing a section on the smell of headphones in my reviews, in which case I will do that. I guess it's just maybe the leather. I assumed it was not real leather. Maybe it's not, but they smell funky. It's one of those smells I can tell is going to go away. They're not going to smell this way forever. If you buy a new mattress, or if you buy certain, I don't know, it's kind of like a new car smell. Yeah, it smells like a rental car, but a clean rental car. Oh, that sounded bad. It doesn't smell bad. It just has a smell to it. that I think is gonna go away. I'm like pretty confident in that. I don't think they're gonna smell a little bit confusing forever. So yeah, maybe just some burn-in time on the smell. Not an upsetting thing. Honestly, I didn't smell them when I was wearing them. It was just when I was taking them out of the box, I just smelled them briefly. Not a big complaint. So these are closed back headphones. They have a 50mm dynamic driver that utilizes a flexible polycarbonate fiber diaphragm, and they have an impedance of 32 ohms, meaning they are plenty loud. So does anyone want to talk about how they sound? Just me? Okay, well, we're gonna do it anyways. All right, so the sound of these. Sorry, I am so sweaty right now from the heat. Maybe the headphones don't even smell bad and it was just me. Like maybe I smell bad. Anyways, the sound of these headphones, how do they sound? I was very curious because if I'm being totally transparent, I know that I spend a lot of time on here reviewing and giving my hot takes on headphones that cost in the thousands of dollars or more. But when it comes to my own headphones, while I do have some nicer ones, one of my favorite pairs of headphones is the Audio-Technica M50X. They run for $150. No frills, you know, just a plastic pair of headphones, but they get the job done. I've had a pair of them since I was like 13 years old. Same pair, or maybe not that long. Did they even exist back then? I have no idea. But I've had a pair of them for like at least 7 years or something, and they've never done me wrong. So for me, like that's an example of a headphone that's $150 and is really doing its job well. But I've tried a number of headphones in this range and they can super be hit or miss. Like there are some garbage headphones in the $150 range, and they really shouldn't be because it's enough money to get you good audio quality. $50 is enough to get you good quality headphones these days, so $150 should be more than enough. You should be getting great quality for that much money. That being said though, there's still limits to what you can make with $150. I had kind of, you know, moderate expectations for these. I was like, okay, they'll probably be pretty good. But I'm not even gonna wait and build up to it. These like far exceeded my expectations. I put them on and I was like, ooh, thank God, this is gonna be a fun review to write and film because I genuinely really do like these. They just are like so wide and huge sounding, and they've got a great bass response. They're very, I'm not gonna say that they're balanced, they're a bit V-shaped, so we've got less mid-range, more high-end, and more bass going on. But they're just really clean and really cinematic sounding and really big sounding. They're great for giving you a super, super wide sound to whatever you're listening to. I would even go as far to say that if you are a producer or an artist, that these could be actually a good headphone to work on music on. They're not the most transparent frequency response, but neither is like a lot of the headphones I see people mixing on. Like people love to mix on like a lot of the Bear Dynamic headphones, which are good, but they are by no means transparent at all, in my opinion. And these are no more sort of affected and modulated than, you know, any other like popular mixing headphone I see out there. So I would explore these as an option if you're into music production and you want something in this price range. They do kind of remind me of a more purified, kind of dampened M50X at times in terms of the fact that they have a super wide, hard-hitting low end and a pretty boosted high end. Like these are super bright. These definitely have a very, very, very purified sound, very clean, very clear, but there's not much bite to it, which for a lot of people is great. It's gonna sound, you know, very pleasant and serene. If you're doing music on these, it might not sound quite sort of snappy enough or quite present enough, maybe in the vocal area. For most people, I think that it'll just feel really smoothed out and very fluid sounding. Hey guys, Luke here. Just wanted to remind you that if you're enjoying this video, it would be so great, so swell if you could give us a like and subscribe. We could really use your support, especially if you're gonna watch our videos. Just go on ahead and click subscribe. I see a lot of you are watching and are not subscribing. Click that button and let's get back to the review. I was kind of looking at these through the lens of, you know, they're gonna probably be looked at by both consumers that are just into music but aren't super, you know, obsessed with headphones, and then they're probably also gonna be looked at by super nerdy audiophiles with very picky, pessimistic ears. And so I feel like for the general consumer, if you just are someone who likes to listen to a lot of music and you want a good pair of headphones, you're gonna listen to these and you're gonna feel like they are very high fidelity. The extended high end and the boosted bass sound and the kind of really cleaned up, subdued mid-range, it's just gonna give you a sense that they're very, very, very clean, and that's gonna feel good. If you are a super picky audio nerd, you're probably gonna maybe feel like the V-shape is a little bit extreme on these. You might not, it depends on what your taste is. But you might feel like they're a little bit too bright, they need to have the shine like pulled back a notch. But you also might not feel that way, as is true with any headphone, but that's just kind of what I could see an audiophile kind of taking problem with on these, is that they're just very bright and they're very subdued in the mid-range. But the width of these, how expansive and immersive they are, really forgives all for me, like in the frequency response. Not that the frequency response has anything wrong with it, I just was kind of like, could be tweaked here or there. But I wasn't that bothered by any of it because it just felt so satisfying how everything was so spread out, and I was, getting that really live in-person sound from these. And I just couldn't stop being like, how are these $150? These don't sound like they cost $150. They sound like they cost $300 maybe. So I was just very impressed by them, especially, with the looks and everything. They just look more expensive than they are. They look very luxurious, great for if you wanna look rich when you're not. And yeah, I just think that these are putting up a stiff competition. They might be onto something for real over here at Sivka. If they can play their cards right, they could definitely come and compete with the big guys and compete with these headphones that are like classics like the M50X or the 770 or whatever, in this price range that are long hailed by many audiophiles, audio nerds, music producers, or just listeners in general. I think that these really do put up a good fight in terms of just quality and balance and dynamics and detail. They are just an overall really well-rounded headphone. So yeah, basically, like I say, where these hit a home run for me is the soundstage, of course. They are super wide, super holographic. The sound separation is incredible. And then also on the bass response, which is just so full, so deep. It's got the sub-frequencies, everything is represented, but it's not overbearing. It's just definitely getting a chance to make its whole point, both leveling and depth-wise. We get, a nice full-fledged bass response, but it doesn't feel kind of like immature or overdone. If you're not someone who's seeking out a ton of bass, fear not. You'll still be able to appreciate these in terms of the bass, just with how well handled they are and how clean they are in that area. And the same goes for the high end. Even though it is a very bright headphone, it doesn't feel like it's just kind of willy-nilly like boosting the heck out of everything. It's definitely got some really refined, cleaned up highs. And then I guess I should also mention that the low mid-range on this is really warmed up, which definitely does a good job counteracting the fact that the high end is pretty strong and that the mid-range is or that the high mid-range is not quite as present. And it also helps that stronger low-end response transition better into those more delicate high mids and high end by having that nice kind of warm layer to just, kind of bring it all together. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Sivka's SV021. I will link to my written review of these per usual. I'll also link to Major Hi-Fi's headphone ranking tool. You can compare these to tons of other headphones. I will be back very soon with some more videos and reviews, and until next time, happy listening.